It's so they underestimate.
Yeah. This is pretty. This is not a game. All right. That's funny. Okay. Someone else took the class before. Who was it? You took it. And did you take it? Anybody else? We're all good. Okay. So we're getting into some scans stuff. I'm not going to go into the source material where I get all this from. It's in the book, and I just imagine what sources we have to come up with what I call an argument. Read the book, it's done like an argument, like here's our sources, here's our culture, here's what we know, here's what I think. But I could be wrong, right? But I'm fairly confident that I'm right, as I'm seeing more groups independently look similar to what I'm doing. So let's talk about our stance choices. So, being Polish, we have options. We do the same stance. And so you can do a couple of them. We do have the rapier stance. If you don't have to do that, line your feet up like so. Pass that foot back. Hand on hip. And yeah, great. The sword will probably be held a bit upright, talk about line. If you've got a heavy sword, you already know that. All right. The other stance is going to be a squared up, much more 1500s style Messer or longsword stance, where that shoulder is a bit more engaged and we're facing our opponents. Either or is fine. The footwork is pretty typical of all footworks. I'm just going to say words and see if you guys just already know it. Get into either stance, I don't care which one. Okay, advance. 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 Retreat, retreat, retreat. Go sideways without crossing your legs. And then go the other way without crossing your legs. See? Pass forward, you know that. Well done. Pass back. Cool, footwork is easy, huh? I know in modern martial arts they get very excited about footwork, and then pass it here, they did not. In Meyer's book, he apologizes for even bringing it up. Because they're just different than us. They're like, you don't walk. Duh. How do you hold a sword? What a dumb, stupid question. You're not going to see any source material from the past as to how to hold a sword. Their answer, especially from the Polish, would be like, hold it. Should I go thumb go here? Yeah. What about there? Yeah. Hold. Right? Are you dumb? Right? We're very slow. We want that specifics, right? That's our late period Victorian, let's classify everything. But yeah, this is not how it works. With the weapon itself. So if you got the heavier weapon, this makes a lot more sense. When the weapon's heavy, we're going to do some guards. And the first guard is the middle guard like this. And why upright like that? If you've got a heavy blade, you can see for yourself. Tilt it forward, so I'm going to put this backwards with Anthony's cane. The moment I get here, it's pulling my wrist. Because it's heavy, right? You know what it wants to do. Right? So my weighted guard is actually up here. Right? Because I don't want to mitt yet. Right? If you're using a stick or a very light weapon, you probably don't want to do that, right? What I'm saying more. Like that. But these are heavy, forward weight, not any stuff. Just a point of balance. Like to sweep and break through. So that's our first little guard, right? Okay. Another one I'm going to show you is high extended. The one Polish source we have, which is a very bizarre source because it was written in the 1800s, it says this is what old Polish Saber was like. But my Polish translator read it and she said it's so weird. It's like a dude pretending to be Shakespeare. Right? So he makes up words that don't make sense from that time period. He's like, thou holdeth the sword forward, right? To sound the old fashioned, but it's not how they talk. That's how these guys write. But he says, we Poles hold our sword like that. This is a little tricky bit of a guard, so I try it all the fast ways I can. So you're going to want to probably kick it back just a little bit, right? So that it's not so tough on the shoulder. There you go. So that your hand is protected. So you guys have a belt guard, but the more realistic ones are going to have nothing. So you always have to consider that your hand is a primary target. And in the Polish duel, this is hard to keep up, so you know. The Polish duel, this was a primary target on the face. Not that you couldn't cut elsewhere, but this was effective. Now, so now we got two basic guards. Right? There are variations. You can pull it back. You may need to do this with someone who's using your hand. You can put it on the other side. That turns into a very different. So you're up. Cool. you go. All my muscle boys are yes. Ox. Window. Depending on your relations. Good. Great. There are low bars too. Just over the leg. Very good. Just over the leg, yeah. And then my favorite, put it on your shoulder. Shoot it down. So that the false edge, very good. False edge, yeah, false edge, false edge. Hard to see with a stick, but more fun. Well done. False edge, yeah. He's alive. We better keep up and snap sort of, right? It's set up for deflection, right? So you're ready to pop things aside. So if I'm down here and someone breathes in, I can pop it aside. You find that in my. So we've got all these cool lead guards, right? So let's go through it one more time. Hold it straight up. Extend it. Tract it. Try both sides just so you know you can do it. Let's put it over the leg. Cool, let's cock it over the shoulder. Let's fire it on down. And there we go. So you've got your basic Polish guards. You need to know your basic attacks. This is great. If you remember Street Fighting games, there was a light attack, a medium attack, and heavy attack. What was the problem with the heavy attack in video games? Oh my gosh, it's the same. It turns out we did not waste our lives. Street Fighter, thank you.
Richard, on the one on your shoulder, how far back is the point?
Keep the hand away. So if you're going to have it on the shoulder, it doesn't matter, like no specifics, but don't do this, right? Other than that, then it's dealer's choice.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, because if you do this, your obviously your arms.
Oh, I see it.
But almost everybody does it when they get tired. Or they want to be, when they get tired, they'll do this, or they want to cheat, like, I want to be faster.
Yeah.
Right? And there is some logic to it, but it comes with a risk. Oh, yeah, you're check on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see what you're doing.
This is a handy little tool.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, it's just a game.
You're welcome to play with it.
It's not a game.
It's no sorting.
No. All right. So, yeah, you're going to want it back like that over this. Oh, there's this one too. This one's pretty tricky to use, but it's in the sources. So, yeah. It's very heavy. So I was talking about the video games. There's a light attack, a medium attack, and a heavy. So I'm going to show you all of them and use common sense. The light attacks are very fast, but they're not necessarily debilitating. In a HEMA sporting context, they're great because you get to run and you win. But in a real life, you need to stop Richard for really real. Maybe. It depends when, where, how you get. The medium attacks, which are my preferred, have a little more pepper behind it. They're not quite as fast, but they're much more likely to go for a hand or to your face or really across the body to make something twice. The heavy attacks are probably cavalry based because they are the big shoulder power cuts. They're slow, they hit really hard, they will devastate whatever they hit, but you can see it a mile away. So we're going to start light, medium, heavy. So the light attack, we've got a couple options. The easiest is just a pop. Get, if you've done any Saber at all, get the blade moving so that as quick as you can, the blade is engaged, your hand moves first, your body falls behind, they hit together. Yeah. Imagine you're snapping me on the top of the head, trying to make the top of my head bleed, right? Yeah. You're giving me a little whip out. Yeah, and it can be any target too, it's like a hand. We can see it to the body or to the shoulder, so it's not be a very effective attack to life. There is a wrist one thing, they're really hard to pull off. So you need to keep your arm completely straight. You can hold your elbow if you have to. Release it and come across. It goes both directions if you take a look. Notice my arm is straight. This is very uncomfortable, and it still doesn't hit that hard, so you don't want to do it. But you can try and practice. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Do that again. You got a winner. Try to keep your elbow as straight as you can. There you go. The best person who ever did this is one of my high school students who was in the contour. Yeah, no problem. The middle attacks, which make much more sense, is the elbow bends a little bit when you perform your cuts. And those make a lot of sense. They hit harder. Yeah, there you go. When we cut, you want to pull down a little bit to keep our hands safe. Assume there's no hand guard, so you have to be able to see here. Great. They work on both sides, obviously. Cut over here. Cut over here. Good.
Richard, you would do so well with my whip system because I'm
Got that
especially
whip?
doing Milanese when I'm repeating.
We should talk later about greatsword because there's a commonality between the greatsword and the whip. I'll talk to you later on that.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Because you're like, how would these things feel like? Very simple. Okay, so now the next thing, when you get your Milanese down, it's very simple. It's hand, right? Elbow and shoulder. So hand Milanese, elbow Milanese, shoulder. With the shoulder, scratch the back of your head. Yeah. And then pretend you're on a horse, and then just don't cut off your own horse's head. There you go. Mr. Ed don't like that. Great. Great. Yeah, just over the back of it. It delivers more power and it just takes a hand away. Get it back. Yeah. Yeah. See? Good. Obviously, in sparring, be careful with this one because it's.
They also do a backhand one.
This way? Yeah. Again, speak it on horse. Right? All that's just transferred to land. Right? Is all you're doing. They're a horse culture, so they all have horses. Big thing. Cool. All right, so now you got your basic attacks, you got your basic movements, right? Let it cross. Okay, so who's got another? Oh, this is your first one. Where's one of mine? Well, I'll just use you. All right. I'm sorry, guys. It's really dashing. I know. It comes with some drawbacks. But we have a hard time.
I heard that when I played Blade in Masters of the Universe.
I saw that as a kid.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
They ever make a toy? Did they make a toy of you?
Yes, and you're coming out with yet another.
Oh yeah, awesome. There's no toys for me. All right. So the cross cutting is. I'm going to have you stick this out. There you go. The cross cutting is going to be. It's very simple. I need this legs heavy. 1, 2. But he knows that too. So as I hit, you can, right? But then I'm going to come across. So what I want you to do is go with motion, and then bring it back. And that's where that Polish stuff comes from. So boom, boom. Now you look like you're playing a game, right? Let's go natural. A little bit of cut. You're okay. And you're like, okay, well, when we're doing that, are we actually fighting? Yeah. So what happens is we start that rhythm, then we try to find gaps in that rhythm. Like the whip, like the great sword, like this, kind of have to keep it moving, right? Otherwise it's going to lose momentum. With the lighter blades and the stakes, you actually don't need to cheat, right? There's nothing you not do today, even though you totally can. You could just prepare your opponent to a victory. Imagine your blades heavier. Now it makes a lot more sense why fighting looks like this, right? And where you go. Poles don't do a ton of parrying, but you should learn to parry anyways. The parries are very, very simple. I want you to go there and stand right here. And we're going to face sideways so everybody can see us. Okay, what's your name? Brent. Brent, okay, right. So the parries, I want you to think about house. So for the roof, cover your head. And let it go with the reins. See that? He's not holding it St. George style. But if he holds it straight, I'll crush through with my massive arms. Nobody laughed? Good, okay. There you go. It worked out. Once. Alright, so here we go. So here's it. Boom. The other way is a little trickier. Yeah. High. Gotta be high. Your hands are a little bit dangerous, you gotta pull those in a little bit of direction. There you go. So your roof is just this. Being a little cognizant that your hands are not as well protected how you have a shelter. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Yep. Alright.
Is it facing forward a bit?
That a little bit, yeah. Okay. Right? So that I'm mostly worried about my hands. As long as I have the roof tilted, the heavy cuts and the light cuts will slide off. And as long as my hand isn't asking for it, I should be pretty good. I have some protection, it's not nothing, but we do have to admit that this is not great. Right? Now here's the weird one, this custom side. So do very, very gentle, keep it straight up, no reason for that. Remember the sword heavy? Okay, so we don't want to do this. Right? It seems like natural, right? Because it curves. Let's do the other side so you can see that. So he does just enough to parry, so it makes sense, but this weird stuff can start happening. So you have to parry out a little farther, so that is, I can do that. But not so far that I can cut your hand. So it's a little bit of a game of looking at the guy's measure to know what is, that's pretty good. Yeah, so we have our roof, now we have our what? Walls, right? Duza is like the word for big, big house. The floors, well, the universal way to handle all low attacks is just to slip. Take that leg, slip away, hit me in the head. That's the easiest thing to do is if someone goes low, pull your leg back, and then hit. At the same time, you can do it. Right? It's universal, shown up in almost every system I've ever seen. Slip of the leg, just that, right? All right, but if you have to parry, sweep your floors. So as I come in, if you're not gonna slip, just sweep them away. There you go. There you go. Easy, easy. Sweep the floors. Let's say you have to. Doesn't matter why. Great. So now, let's put our house together real quick. So we get in a good stance. Our left hand can go anywhere. I prefer here, but you guys sword just hanging on my back. That's not cool. I want to be really awesome. Do that. And so we've got, from one of our guards, we're going to go for 2 parries at 5 for our roof. Our walls a little wider than it seems safe, especially with the curved blades. Again, with the stick, it's not necessary. And then for our floors, we'll sweep the floors. But keep in mind, slipping the leg, pulling that leg back is the better solution. Great. Okay, let me tell you not to put your hand. I know it's tempting. Don't put your hand in your pocket. Forever. Forever. Every seminar, every class, it's never the right answer, even though it's super comfortable. It's a weird habit. Yeah, we all do it, right? And you'll catch me sometimes. You have to go, hey, we don't put it in the pocket. Okay, so now we've got some really good basics. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play a game. Well, we should probably do a little bit of a drill first. So what we'll do is we'll do a drill that you're not going to get hit in. Then we'll split up into teams. There's a game we play with sticks, and the heavier game you guys can play with the sabers. So the game with the sticks is real easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing towards you, and you are actually going to dodge by going to the high guard there. Yep, then you throw it back at me, right through, to let the motion go. Yeah. What I'm actually interested in is a little bit of you guys learning to lean, but also to keep the motion of the blade going. Yeah, because it's heavier blades. With your sticks, you're going to have to fake it, because I know your stick's not heavy, but you can always swap with a heavier blade with somebody to see for yourself. Find a partner with a somewhat matched weapon, and we're going to do that leaning game. Yeah. Got a partner right there. Yeah, right.
So you take.
Pretty common sense, right? Not for this one, right? Now, you can always incorporate it, right? They're going to get wrong. Basically. Very easy, right? So, again, not a complicated system, you just don't want to
Lean backwards and turn to your head.
I can't hear you.
Slap that. Yeah.
Can you agree? Okay. So, yeah, you kind of.
I don't, like, I can maybe.
So, lean forward to your dash, right? And then lean back. When you bring your sword back, protect yourself. Bring it back forward. So, it's kind of like much more is going to help. So, what we try to do is time the short strikes. So you're leaning back, you're protecting yourself. Then you change around and swing, and then I block. And you have this. It's back and wrong.
Gonna be different.
Bring it around and swing.
Really lean in and out. There we go. So yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
then-
heavy.
Yeah,
Show some
basically,
Sure.
like the leading pumps.
That's, so as we lean in,
Ah, okay.
scoot all the way through. Yeah. Your swords a bit light.
Bring it around your head as opposed
I'm using the
to
stick.
over you, so that you have more room to fly it
Just
up.
like this, so I can see if I'm getting out far enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like that.
Turn it over. I've got to be out more like this, right? Right there is good enough, so move forward.
Easy.
A little bit safer.
Sorry, you can play with that.
And return.
And the other side.
Carry, we have our heavy cut set up, and then we
Then you block,
A few more.
then you bring those.
Yeah. Try it again. Yeah, I'm not going to get any. One more time. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, don't fight it. Don't fight it.
Yeah, it is. Let's wrap it up this way. And yeah, I'm not getting in there.
Don't almost at the same time.
Then,
One more time.
just sets up the carry, but also the skill.
How does that feel? Oh.
Round, get on top. There you go.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
can,
like it's
Farther than what I'm used to. So I like to just go like this. I basically say, well, if I can just see if your body is kind of lining up right there with that. Not good.
You borrow that big boy for a second. This is about as bad as
But her brain has stuff still going on inside.
All right, I think we figured it out. I think we figured it out. All right, come on in. Come on in.
yeah.
And she just
All right. So I got some great questions. Like, hey, is military saber better? Well, with a military saber, yes, it is. The military saber has a lighter blade. It has a full bell guard. Right? So we got some serious differences. So we have to remember that we're using different items and that we're going to have different responses. I need help.
Stupid that Coke weird designed them that way.
We got it?
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. So that military saber will replace these Polish sabers. They kind of went away. Cavalry is a little different. Cavalry is just a little bit different. So for your foot sabers here, they were eventually replaced by these blades, and then when we get to the 1800s, like they even write in one of the Polish dictionaries, no one knows how to cross that. Because they'd all switched to Italian style, French style, carrier post systems. So you were asking, like, in a tournament, which going to be better? Well, if I do a saber tournament and it's like an open saber tournament, I'll use Polish saber, but I usually won't get very far. The raw skill I can usually get females, but it's just I'm going against essentially superior blades, right? And the blade is much counts for the most part, but I also but when I run Polish saber tournaments, I require Polish sabers. And I have a context of like, oh, it's first hit, it has to be somewhat sufficient, and it has to be enough to get some target areas. That makes a very different fight and just a very different tournament. Like you would not show up to the longsword tournament with a great sword, like it's the same. 2 hands on the blade. No problem. You wouldn't show up with a small sword to the rapier tournament. And sabers are not all the same. Like, they have that habit in the community of just being like, saber. Like, yeah, that thing that changed from over a period of 300 years, yeah, it's a little bit different. So remember, my job isn't to teach the best system in the world. My job is to teach the historical system, right? You know what that means is historical European martial arts and recreating some of the past reports and all. Does that make a bit more sense now? Yeah. I'm not here to do more modern.
Would it also be in the context of what you're doing. So if you're on the battlefield, you want to have your saber if you're going against bad guys, right?
Well, the battlefield gets even weirder. This is really strictly dueling. On the battlefield, the light cavalry carried a heavier saber because they move slower for durability. They had those as personal sabers, as a sidearm, or as their walking around saber. If you're a noble, you were required to carry sabers or a warhammer. Which, oh my gosh, they got into warhammer duels. And it was a problem. In fact, the warhammer duels were so bad, someone in the scene stood up and said, "We all think our warhammers are volatile, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I vote we ban them from our meetings because of, I don't know why. And they all agreed. We were 100% that we were all agreed none of us are cowards. And so they stopped bringing their Naziaks, which are mini warhammers, which were walking sticks with spikes on it. Yeah, and said we're no longer bringing them. And they complained, they said in a duel, when you cut someone, they bleed, everyone jumps, it's like, hey, blood was drawn. And they let you make up. This is the warhammer, there's no blood. You hit him on the head, there's no blood, like keep fighting. That dude's brain's gonna do it, right? It's in the chest. He's not spouting blood, his organs are crushed. So they banned the things. Yeah, so context definitely matters. The Polish knights, the ones with the wings that look like angels that showed up at Vienna, they carried a hollow lance, still as longer than a pike. That's clever. It's hollow, right? They carried a very long heavy saber meant for stabbing. It was really long, it's really heavy. You couldn't use it. I guess you could use it on foot, but it's not like it. They used, and then their personal sabers like that would be tucked under the saddle as like, oh shit, I'm out of everything, right? I'd rather use anything but that because it's just not what it's for. Do you know where a sword spends most of the time? In a scabbard. So they spend a lot of time making it look good, including adding thumb rings, which give you some motion. Thumb rings are kind of cool for that, but also you can decorate it, right? So, great question. All right, so we're going to split up into the sparring games. If you're like, I am ready, then you can get a full longsword kit and use heavy sabers, and I'll walk you through some bases. If you're like, oh, I have a partial kit, get as much as you can. You still need good gloves, and we'll give you the sticks. If you're like, I can't do any of that, just hang out and tell some stories at the end. And what are we at on time? 7 noon. This goes to 12:30. So we'll do this for about 15, 20 minutes, and then give you 10 minutes to tell a funny story or two, and then sell the books. Doesn't it go by fast? Right now, I'm a professional teacher, by the way. I teach history at Peoria High School. Taught 22 years. Yeah, so that's why I'm pretty good at the lecture part. And thank you guys for being such good students and having some excellent questions. That's not the time to clap yet. Are you so excited?
No, I'm clapping because you're a teacher, and that's like one of the hardest jobs and most admirable jobs ever.
I guess we can get behind that.
I'll tell you a story how my job's so weird that one of my kids who was abandoned by her parents, I'm now paying for her wedding. Yeah, that's what it is to be a teacher, yeah. Because I got under 18, I said goodbye, she never left. She's almost 30. I'm like, what the hell is going on? She sent me Father's Day cards. All right, so what I want you guys to do now is split up your teams. If you're like ready to go for the full shenanigans, come right over here. If you've got the heavy sabers, lay them down right here. If you're ready for stick fighting, you're gonna go over there. If you're for none of it, just hang back for a bit. This won't be forever.
Would it be an issue if I use my skill?
Oh, you're what? You're gonna hang out for a bit. This will only be. Wait.
I also want to ask. I believe my previous right here.
Okay. Yes.
Shall I say?
I will.
Sean. Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you. Let me get this set up.
So I got a message on the thank you, sir. That is. Very nice.
She needs retraining, so
Yeah, she taught me a little bit for like a month. She taught me for a long period of time. So
I'll let her know. So we want her to keep showing up. She got kids and kind of busy.
Yeah.
But if I can get her in, I'll just have her. She wants to do something.
Would you say the minimum was per stick?
Do you have books? Turn these gloves and
Yeah, I mean, you did not.
you want to do 1%.